He said, if you want to be alone in the next metro, when the door opens, shout loudly saying, Jihad! I'm Muslim, but I'm Egyptian too. I said, would you like me to tell you a secret, young man? You should see how his face turned very serious. As Muslims, the secrets that we know are different. He's expecting that we're receiving a daily email about the schedule of trains that we will bomb every day or something. I said, all Muslims in the world love this word so much. He said, what? I thought only 15%. Because that's what you are taught. 15% of Muslims are fanatics. 15% of Muslims are suicide bombers or prospect suicide bombers. 15% of Muslims, this is 300 million. I said, all Muslims in the world love this word so much, we even use it to call and to name our children. Even girls, here in this country. You can see a 3-year-old child with blue hair, blue eyes and blonde hair, and you ask her, what's your name, honey? She tells you, my name is Jihad. Why do Muslims do that? You need to understand what is jihad. Jihad linguistically comes from the root word shahada, which means doing extra effort, exerting extra effort. So linguistically it means striving and struggling. Idiomatically, the word jihad has 3 main meanings. The first one is jihad al-nafs, which is a non-violent struggling within oneself for a life of virtue. You struggle against your ego to be a better person. To spend in charity with sincerity without showing off is not easy. It is jihad. The second type is saying the truth, even if it's against your own interests. In some countries, when people say the truth, they can find themselves in jail. What does Islam tell you here? Stay quiet. In order to be safe? No. Islam says, still say the truth, even if this will cost you your life. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, the best form of jihad is a word of truth in the presence of a tyrant. What do tyrants do? Tyrants kill. So, in Islam, you say the truth. You are encouraged to say the truth, even if you will lose your life. Why? Because you will die one day. Die today with dignity. Instead of getting ran over by a car. And I'll be ran over by a car in this country if you don't drive right, by the way. You guys drive wrong. The third form of jihad is combat, to establish justice, which is a supreme goal in every civilization, to establish justice. And the verse that they always use against us, they say, those people are crazy. They have combat in the cause of Allah. They should have love in the cause of Allah like us. But continue reading the verse. The verse says, combat in the cause of Allah those who combat against you. It is the same, dirty game of cut and paste that is used against Muslims all the time. All the time. Yes, we are allowed to go to combat and fight those who combat against us, but even when we go to combat, we learn how to fight in the combat orders of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Prophet Muhammad was not just a prophet, he was a merchant, a father, a husband, a teacher, a politician, a negotiator, and a warrior. And we are so proud that he was a warrior, and he was a very brave warrior. But he taught us how to fight, and he said, rule number one, do not kill innocent people. And we have a main ruling among the main 90 rulings of Sharia, which you claim that you studied, that says no one can be fought except a combatant. Which means that what happened on 9/11 cannot be justified in Islam. What happened on 7/7 cannot be justified in Islam. You will tell me about the guys from Al-Qaeda, they speak using the Quran like you. That's true. Still, a misinterpretation of a verse, the same ideology. It's a verse that says, if you punish them, then punish them exactly as they punished you. And they say, well, the West killed our civilians in Palestine, in Afghanistan, in Chechnya, so we can also kill their civilians. Makes sense, eh? The verse says, punish them exactly as they punished you. But when I debated with those people, and by the way, I was assaulted with a knife one day by a Muslim. Some Muslims think themselves super Muslims. We are just Muslims, they are super Muslims. And I was spat at twice, by the way. But still, no one likes me. Let me tell you. I told them, yes, it's true that they killed our civilians. But they didn't only kill our civilians, they also raped our women in Bosnia. Why don't you rape their women? They said, no, we don't do that. I said, why not? The verse says, punish them back exactly as they punished you. And they said, no, we cannot do that because it is unlawful to rape, unlawful to fornicate. I said, then the verse is not general. Then the verse means, which equals the law of Moses in the Old Testament, and the same verse exists also in the Quran, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Which means, if they fight you, fight them back. If someone blows up one eye for you, don't blow up two eyes for him. If someone destroys one tooth for you, don't destroy 32 teeth for him. One tooth for one tooth, one eye for one eye. But still, if they kill your civilians, don't kill their civilians. And still, if they rape your women, do not rape their women. Prophet Muhammad said, never kill innocent people. Never torture prisoners of war.
Point of information.
You remember this picture? Huh? Of Abu Ghraib? Those were not Muslims who were torturing those prisoners of war. We're not allowed to torture prisoners of war. Never kill animals, never destroy crops, never mutilate enemies. And by the way, that was all 1400 years before the Geneva Convention. If you can find anything in the Geneva Convention who's more than that, I'll give each one of you 100 pounds. But to end this about jihad now. Jihad doesn't mean terrorism. Let me first discuss this with you. What is the difference between violence and terrorism? Can we say that violence is what two enemies do against each other directly? But terrorism is violence against the weak people. Terrorism is violence against those who are defenseless, those who are helpless, those who are unarmed. Terrorism is violence against the weak. Listen to this verse in the Quran. It says, what is wrong with you that you fight not in the cause of Allah and in the cause of the weak, ill-treated and oppressed among men, women, and children? What did we say the weak are suffering from? Terrorism. Therefore, jihad doesn't mean terrorism. The word jihad means war on terrorism. Okay. So the word jihad means war on terrorism. Doesn't mean terrorism. They spoke about a lot of things actually. I don't think that I can address it all, but same thing. The verse that you said, that smite out their necks, this is not in chapter number 8, it's in chapter number 47, and it's a very small part of the verse. The verse says, if you meet them in war, smite their necks. Well, at that time, people were fighting with the swords. And then it says, when the war is over, and you take captives of them, what does it say? Then, free the captives out of generosity, or ransom them. Which means, exchange them with your own captives, or ransom them for compensation. Thank you very much.